What's going on, car family? I'm Ben Wayne. Thank you for joining me in another video. Today we're up bright and early on this beautiful Atlanta morning. We're behind the wheel of the 2019 Mercedes-AMG GT63S four-door coupe. I know that name is a mouthful. That is possibly one of the longest names on the market right now. Now, we've already done a full technical review on this vehicle, specifically the Edition 1 model. So if you're interested in hearing some of the more technical details and seeing the special trim on that vehicle, I strongly urge you to check that out. But today I just wanted to get behind the wheel and talk a little bit about how this car feels. Essentially what this car is, in my opinion, is a jack of all trades. And I say that to say this. Back in the day, when you wanted a fast car, you had to get a sports car. If you wanted a comfortable car, you got a large sedan. So that sports car would be a car that you would only drive a few times a month because it didn't have the practicality. And that large sedan would probably be something that you drove every day, but of course it's not as cool as a sports car. It's not as fun to drive, doesn't have that performance, but it does have that practicality. This car is a jack of all trades, and that just really shows you where the car industry is heading today with the technology we have and the demands of what people want and what people need. So we're now able to get a lot of those features we craved and had to have multiple cars for all in one car. So the Mercedes-AMG GT63S four-door coupe checks a lot of those boxes. And for those of you who are familiar with this car, you know essentially that this is a four-door version of the Mercedes-AMG GT that came out roughly 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. It's hard to believe it's that long, really. So what this car is able to give you is, of course, a smooth ride. Naturally, I have it in Sport Plus mode and manual mode. That's what I like to do in these cars, but you can get a smooth ride if you want it. So let's talk a little bit about the exterior. The exterior paintwork on this car is one of my favorites. It is a Designo Selenite Magno paintwork, and it looks amazing. And that flat finish really just helps bring out the curves of this car. Starting up front, in my opinion, this has one of the most aggressive front ends of a Mercedes-Benz vehicle. You have those multi-beam LED headlamps, of course that Panamera kind of grille, which is kind of a trademark to the AMG V8 models. And then of course aggressive AMG body sculpting on the lower front end with active air panels that open and close based on the car's demands. Now coming to the side profile, what I really love about this car is how the roof meets seamlessly into the hatch. So it's not one of those cars that look unproportional. It looks fairly smooth, and I love the tapered look that comes into the hatch. Now you'll also notice from the side profile those large carbon ceramic brake rotors. That is a $9,000 factory option. Now, in my opinion, I'm not sure if you really need that on a car like this, because I really don't see people taking cars like these to the track. This is something that you can drive every day and have fun with as well, but if you want a track car, I strongly urge you to get the AMG GTR. Now the rear is quite interesting. It has those thin LED tail lamps that give the car the feeling that it's squinting at you from the back. And of course you have that AMG performance exhaust system, which just sounds amazing. Especially when the car warms up, you get those snaps and crackles. I'm sure you guys can hear that. This car really comes to life, especially when that exhaust system has warmed up. So, like I said, this car is extremely powerful. Man, this car is fun to drive. It's extremely powerful. It's powered by a handcrafted AMG 4-liter bi-turbo V8, putting out 630 horsepower, 664 pound-foot of torque. It's connected to an AMG speed shift automatic transmission, so your shift times are going to be really quick. So your 0 to 60 time is going to be 3.1 seconds. All right, this is what I get for driving early on Saturday mornings. I have one of these bicycle groups here, so I'll just take it easy, give them some space. At least this isn't one of those 2-lane roads where they're taking one of the lanes and everybody's just stuck behind them. So I'm thankful for that. But anyway, so with that handcrafted AMG bi-turbo engine, this car gets up and goes fairly quick. And like I said, it's bi-turbo, but one thing you'll notice when you're driving it is that you really don't feel any turbo lag at all. And that's thanks to the Mercedes-AMG hot inside V configuration, where the turbos have been placed in between the cylinder banks. So it sits within the V of the engine. And we discussed this in a few videos before, but essentially what you're getting is a more efficient and compact design and decreased turbo lag, or near zero turbo lag, because the compressed charge from the turbo has a short distance to travel from the turbo to the cylinder banks. So once you put your foot down on that throttle, it's a near instantaneous response. And it just is a difference you can really feel when compared to cars that had turbos from just 5 years ago. So it's amazing to see how far we've come as far as performance has gone in these cars. Now, cars like these today have multiple personalities. You're starting to see that across the board in the automotive industry, not just Mercedes-Benz. And you have multiple personalities because you have options like the Mercedes-AMG Dynamic Select, which allows you to change the car from custom to comfort to sport, sport plus, or even a race mode if that's available. And that really just allows you to change your experience. Like I said, while I drive these cars, I like to keep it in sport plus mode for obvious reasons, and manual mode. Now, one thing I will mention is that this is a fairly large car. So to help you with that, one thing you're getting is all-wheel steering. So when you're driving at lower speeds, the rear wheels will steer at the opposing phase as the front wheels, which allows you to be a little bit more maneuverable. That's going to help you in parking lot situations. But at higher speeds, the rear wheels will turn in the same phase as the front wheels. That's going to give you increased stability. So stuff like that, I just love how they incorporate all this technology in these cars. I mean, think about that. That essentially allows the car to virtually extend and shorten its wheelbase. That is amazing. Now, of course, this car comes with the AMG 4MATIC Plus all-wheel drive system. Essentially what that does is vary the torque distribution between the front and rear wheels. Now, the rear wheels will always be receiving some power, but also a benefit of that 4MATIC Plus system is essentially being able to make this a rear-wheel drive vehicle, which is also known as drift mode. So you're able to have plenty of fun with this car if you want. All right, let's do a quick pull. It's amazing how quickly this car gets up and goes. And that exhaust, man, that is incredible. I could listen to that all day. But let's go ahead and talk about some of the interior characteristics of this car. The interior is finished in a beautiful macchiato beige exclusive Napa leather. It is so smooth to the touch. And this is one of my favorites. But if you have no kids, this is probably one of your favorites too. If you do, obviously I would not recommend getting it. But the interior is just beautiful. Now, one of the things I've noticed while driving this car is that when I'm taking turns relatively quickly, I have active side bolsters that inflate and deflate extremely fast to keep me planted in the center of the seat. What's most impressive about that is how responsive it is. So as soon as I turn the wheel, I feel the side bolster inflating. It's not a delay, and I really like that about this car. Now, of course, the seats are comfortable because essentially this is a four-door GT car, so you can take long trips in it as well. You have 3 levels of heating and cooling as well, and the seats are just essentially gorgeous to look at. This Designo Napa leather is amazing. One of my favorite aspects about these new AMG vehicles is the steering wheel. They have some of the most beautiful steering wheels in my opinion. The steampunk design with this bright work just really jumps out at you, and I love the feel of these thick aluminum shift paddles in my hands. Now, behind the steering wheel, I have dual 12.3-inch displays. They're fully configurable and easy to read as well. Now, one thing I love, and I always mention this, is how when you have the navigation up, it's a large map, so there's no squinting and guessing where you're going. It's pretty clear and easy to read. Now, on top of that, if you don't want to look down, you do have a head-up display system that displays the speed you're going, as well as the speed limit as well, and the gear you're driving in. So it's pretty amazing how comfortable this car has become, just with all the features that they've thought of to make the driving experience a little bit easier, a little bit less stress-free, and allows you to have a little bit more fun with the car. So you feel really comfortable even if you're driving this car for the first time. I love downshifting in this car. This thing sounds amazing. Now let's make our way to the rear. Now those seats are just as beautiful in the back as well, and comfortable as well. So you could carry 4 people comfortably in this car. Now for the US market, you can only carry 2 occupants in the back. If you're in a different market, you do get the 5-seat option. So there's 3 occupants in the back, 2 occupants up front. Now, I'm not sure why they did that in the US market. If you want a car that's similar to this and want to be able to carry 5 people, I suggest going with the CLS 53. Is that as cool? Honestly, no, it's not. You know, you don't get that handcrafted V8, so that exhaust system isn't going to sound nearly as good. You're not getting that performance. But if you want to carry 4 people, this is your car. So let me go ahead and use AMG Dynamic Select, and I'm going to switch this into comfort mode and see how the behavior of the car changes. So I'll go from manual mode to just in automatic mode, and instantaneously I can tell how the behavior of the car has just changed. So now I just feel like this is a daily cruiser car. I've left my sports car and now I'm in my traditional sedan. So I just love how versatile these cars are. Now, of course, like I said, when I'm driving these cars, I like being in Sport Plus mode. So I'll go ahead and knock that back down and then go ahead and switch into manual mode. And I can do that just using this assortment of buttons in the center console. I love the design and the carbon fiber finish in this car. Now, the center console has 4 buttons on either side. And if you think about it, that's kind of paying a tribute to that V8 that sits ahead. It's design characteristics and details like that that make me fall in love with these cars. Now, of course, you have storage in the center console as well. So again, you're getting all that practicality. Now, the door panels are finished in smooth black leather with contrast stitching. You do have carbon fiber accents, and your Burmester speaker grills just pop out at you. You have controls for your seats, and then you have those macchiato beige inserts as well. Your aluminum door handle, your lock and unlock buttons, and then storage on the bottom of the door panel as well. I really love this flat bottom steering wheel. It feels really nice and gives the car a real sporty look. So seeing this car, it looks so aggressive. When you look at it, you can tell what it's about. But what you can't tell is that how comfortable it really can be if you want to drive this every day. So that's what makes these cars amazing to me. Let me know what you guys think about this car in the comment section. Now, as this car has been spec'd out, it's going for about $198,000. Now, if you get a regular GT63 or a non-S model, those go for around $150,000 or so, depending on how you spec it out. So it's really up to you. Now, that car is powerful as well. You're getting a little bit less horsepower. You're looking at about 577 horsepower, 590 pound-foot of torque, but your 0 to 60 time is still in the 3s. So there's still plenty of fun to be had in the 63S or the non-S model, depending on what you want to go with. But ultimately, these cars are amazing to drive. I cannot stress that enough. And the form, fit, and finish and the quality of materials that you'll find in the interior is amazing as well. So let me know what you guys think about this one in the comment section. Thank you so much for joining me in this video, and I'll be sure to catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. That downshift.